With the combine on deck, will the Saints be willing to draft a different type of defensive end? My God, I hope so. If we don't, I'm pretty sure that fits the definition for insanity. We are here with New Orleans Football talking about the NFL draft coming up and who the Saints could be targeting. So we have talked exclusively about how Brock Bowers is my choice for the Saints. I want Brock Bowers to be a New Orleans Saint. I can't wait. I will drive him from the airport to the Superdome if he is drafted. But there is the off chance that Brock Bowers is selected before us, or we may even pass on him. So where else should the Saints go? I have identified the next need, the next hope to be a pass rusher. Bottom line is, ladies and gentlemen, in the NFL today, you have to be able to rush the quarterback. You have to be able to stop the pass. You have to be able to pressure guys like Patrick Mahomes and these top-tier elite level quarterbacks. You have to have it. And the Saints were horrific last year at getting to the quarterback, sacks, and whatnot. With Cam Jordan aging out, it's time, right? So if Brock Bowers is not there, I would love to see us take a defensive end. And I think Nick and the gang here at New Orleans Football will agree with me.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Dot, presented by Matt Bowers Auto Group, best car dealer in the world. If you need a new car, make sure you go and check.
You want a Kia Soul, you want a Kia Skrmetta, you want a Telluride, what else? A Honda Sonata. You want one of those cube vehicles. You want a Mini Cooper. Get on down to Veterans Boulevard and go to Matt Bowers Autoplex. And while you're there, go to PJ's, Hard Hide Whiskey, and do the rest of it.
Come out. All right, we got the Combine coming up next week. And just one of the things that I've been thinking about heading into it is just the Saints' need for a pass rusher. I think it's obvious they could use one, maybe even two of them. They might want to double dip in it and get one in free agency and the draft.
Yes.
But one of the things that I've been thinking about with this coming up is just how the profile for these types of players might need to change. We know that the Saints have...
Here's the profile, okay? Sacks the quarterback, gets after the quarterback, is able to rush the passer, is able to get sacks. That's the profile. That's it. I don't care if they have one leg. I don't care if they have wings. I don't care if they came from Canada, if they come from Mars. I don't care at all, okay? I don't care if they're 6'5" or 5'6". If they can get to the quarterback, let it rip. Take them. That's what we need. Like TJ Watts, Myles Garrett, they're built different. They play different. Same results, right? So, and the Saints have kind of made that mistake in the past to where they go profile first, which to me is such a such an old school way of looking at it. Same with quarterbacks, where it's like, oh, let's measure their hand size. It's like, hey, brother, I'm not on a first date with them. You know what I'm saying? How about we measure their 4 years of game tape? How about we measure if they can, what's their touchdown to interception ratio? Let's measure this stack of film we have on them. I'm not really concerned about what their ring size is. You know what I'm saying? I want to know how good they are at that position. Same thing with defensive end. In the past, we've gotten too wrapped up in like these big physical, defensive ends who can just try and blow by, the offensive linemen. And because we pigeonhole ourselves, again, ladies and gentlemen, I say this all the time, it's hard enough to land in the NFL. Let's go down Metaphor Alley. Let's go down Metaphor Road. Okay, let's say you're looking for, this is metaphor warning. Okay, we're about to go deep. Pause. Let's say you're in the dating pool, okay, and you're looking for a lovely young lady or young fella, whatever it might be. If you say, well, I'm really looking for brunette, 5'9", with who works in nursing, you have really pigeonholed yourself. It's hard enough to find somebody. It's hard enough to find a good person. Why would you throw these extra qualifiers on there? That's what we do in the draft. We say, well, they got to be 6'5", they got to be 240, they got to be able to do blank, blank, blank. We should just be looking at the entire draft pool and say, I don't care what the profile is. I don't care what the shape is. I don't care what where they came, like what school they came from, if it's a Power 5 or a smaller school. All I care about is, do I think this player will be able to get to the quarterback? That's it.
Have liked big, strong, hulking guys that can play all three downs, and that's kind of been their prototype for the last several years. But heading into this draft, they might need to rethink that a little bit and maybe think a little bit smaller. Now, I've heard there's some willingness to do that. Jeff Ireland said it recently at the Senior Bowl. And I just think
what am I even watching? Look at back here. Hold on a second. I'll tell you this right now. I now realize why we're not being able to get to the quarterback. What am I looking at?
To do that. Jeff Ireland said
Look at this
recently at the Senior Bowl.
Is this what we're doing in practice?
Practically speaking,
is this the drills we're doing? Is this the kind of stuff that we have working on out there?
These guys coming up to the NFL now are a little bit smaller than they have been in the past.
Latu's the man.
With the way the game's being played, you need faster speed rushers that can make plays out in space when a quarterback escapes the pocket. So the Saints might need to look at this a little bit differently than they have.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a good point from Nicholas. The NFL has changed this idea of you have to be a certain size. We talked about this in the Brock Bauer video. It's no longer the idea that, oh, well, the tight end has to be a big, strong guy who can run block. It's not. The NFL is so different. You know, you could even go back. I used this metaphor before, but with the NBA, where a center doesn't have to be 7 foot, 290 pounds, and rebounds and has post play. Rebounders nowadays, some are shorter, some can shoot, some are athletic, some are not. I mean, it's just play the position. You know, we have got to focus on results with these defensive ends. And really the idea of even a defensive end, like even that alone is kind of whatever. Like we use the term edge. Could they be a linebacker that ends up playing at the end position? Are they a defensive end who can also play linebacker? Like, you know, players like Micah Parsons, I don't know what they are. Like you could call them an end. You could call them an outside linebacker. Doesn't really matter unless you're playing Madden or fantasy football and you have to fill a slot. But as far as the draft goes, like tight end, wide receiver, same thing. Safety, cornerback, same thing. If you have a cornerback who you really like, but they're a safety, or vice versa, if you're looking at a safety who you really like, who you think can play cornerback, you know, all that matters is can they do the job. It doesn't matter the profile of the player. It doesn't matter the position they play, and that stuff, as long as you get the results. So I agree. I think we should be looking at more athletic guys because of the way the NFL has changed. If we're talking about just schematically, yeah, quarterbacks now are much faster, much more athletic. Even the quote-unquote slower quarterbacks, even the quote-unquote more pocket passers, they can still run. They can still burn you with their legs. You know, even like Patrick Mahomes. He's not exactly a pocket passer like Tom Brady was, but Patrick Mahomes he's certainly mobile. You need to be able to contain him. There's a lot of quarterbacks like that. We've seen people even like Kenny Pickett who have been really good with their legs. So, yeah, the idea of just these like hulking bull rush ends, that's just not going to do anymore. The way that RPO is out there, the options and the read option stuff we see all the time, the running backs getting the ball in the backfield, whether it's through screens or pitches or just the ability of offenses to get the ball to people in space, and that includes quarterbacks like Lamar, to be able to get them loose. You need an end that can take care of that. You need an end that can do a lot. So we probably do need, if we were going to like change, I guess, the profile, looking more towards an athletic speed rusher, as Nick called it, probably would be a good idea.
In the past, you can still have your prototype and still be aiming to get a certain type of player. But if there's like a 250-pound pass rusher who's good at what he does, I don't think that should disqualify him from being on the team. So you need to be willing to make those types of exceptions. So I think when the Saints go here next week, their board needs to be wide open, and they need to be open to any type of possibility.
I agree with that. Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of what we're saying. You know, like, it's so difficult to land a draft pick. When you start throwing just random stuff like that onto people, whether it's a size thing or a school thing or whatever qualifier it is, like, it makes it so much harder for you to land. You have to try and have the most outs possible. You have to have the most options possible to choose from in order for you to really be successful. You have to be looking at everything. You have to be turned, you know, no stone unturned. It should be what's going on in the draft process. It shouldn't be just having qualifiers to have qualifiers. Now let's go ahead and take a look at who possibly could be there around where we're drafting. All right, this is Daniel Jeremiah, his mock draft 2.0, I believe. So if you look at, so if we go down a little bit, y'all can see what's going on here. McCarthy at 8, my God. Jeez. So Dallas Turner, first edge off the board, I believe, at 11. Okay, I like Dallas Turner a lot. Jared Verse then goes to Denver. When was this? Because I've seen a lot of, this was, okay, 2 days ago. 2 days ago. So I've seen, okay, so Jared Verse goes to Denver. I like Jared Verse too a lot. But I've also heard a quarterback situation here. So let's pretend they drop. And then after that, Byron Murphy's a tackle. Brock Bowers at 18. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, he could be there. I'm telling you. Latu all the way down to 21. No way. If Latu is there, I mean, if he's, goodness, could you imagine if Brock Bowers and Latu are available and we go JC Latham? God, I will be absolutely furious if that's the case. I would be totally fine with Latu. And I mean, he is absolutely, he fits that mold of super athletic speed rusher. There's some videos out there on Twitter of him chasing down Caleb Williams. Unbelievable stuff. Man, Bowers falling to 18 and Latu falling to 21 is insane. That's some serious talent down there. Imagine Bowers going to Cincinnati. Imagine the Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase with Bowers as the tight end. Wow. That would be insane. But, I mean, those three guys, like, we don't even have to look that hard, really. I mean, the Saints board is kind of filling up, like, if you look at it. If the Saints go into the first round and they're thinking, well, we'll take some combination of Turner versus Bowers or Latu, if that's their plan, if they go into the draft with that mindset and they're thinking if we have to trade up to get one of those, whatever I listed, 4 or 5 guys, if we have to trade up to get one, but we're coming out of the first round with one of those guys, it's pretty impactful. That's pretty solid. And like Nick said, you can always double dip, go to free agency, get another pass rusher, or get an offensive lineman, or get whatever you want. So I hope the Saints, I'm with them. I hope they're walking in there and they're filling the draft board up with potential players, and they're going in proactively, and they're ready to make trades, move around, do what they got to do. And if that's the case, then we should have a pretty good draft. So let me know in the comments below what you think. Should the Saints be willing to draft a different type of defensive end, or do you want to see more of the same Marcus Davenports and Peyton Turner? So let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.